Rachel snuggled deeper into the armchair. Christmas lights twinkled, casting dancing shadows on the walls. Outside, snow fell silently. She was alone, but it wasn't an unpleasant loneliness. Her parents were at a neighborhood party, due back before midnight. The phone rang. Rachel jolted, startled. It was an unfamiliar number. Curiosity warred with apprehension. Taking a deep breath, she answered. "Hello?" Her voice was hesitant. Silence. Then a raspy whisper, barely audible, sent shivers down her spine. "Merry Christmas, Rachel." The phone clattered onto the coffee table. Rachel's heart pounded. Who was that? How did they know her name? It couldn't be a prank call. The voice was too strange, too chilling. Minutes crawled by. The ticking of the grandfather clock in the hallway seemed deafening. She tried to convince herself it was just a silly joke, but the voice, the whisper, lingered in her mind. The phone rang again. Rachel jumped, her breath catching in her throat. The same number flashed on the caller ID. Fear, cold and sharp, pierced through her. She couldn't answer, but the ringing continued, relentless, demanding. It was like the caller knew she was there, watching, waiting. Suddenly silence. The ringing stopped. Rachel let out a shaky breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. Was it over? A loud thump from downstairs shattered the fragile peace. Rachel froze, every muscle in her body tense. Footsteps. Heavy, deliberate footsteps, slowly ascending the stairs. Terror, pure and consuming, washed over her. She was trapped, alone with what? Her eyes darted around, searching for an escape, a weapon, anything. A knock. 3 sharp raps on the door. Rachel's blood ran cold. The doorknob rattled. Gap 3S. Rachel's heart raced as she backed away from the door. The silence was deafening, but she knew she wasn't alone. She could feel eyes on her, watching, waiting. She grabbed her phone, hands trembling, and dialed her parents' number. No answer. She tried again and again, but the line was dead. Panic set in. She had to get out, but how? The windows were locked, and the only door was blocked by whatever was outside. She took a deep breath, trying to calm herself. She had to think, had to find a way out. Suddenly a loud crash came from the kitchen. Rachel's blood ran cold. She wasn't alone in the house anymore. Gap 2S. Slowly she crept towards the kitchen, every step a battle against the fear threatening to consume her. The dim light cast long shadows, each one a potential threat. As she reached the doorway, she peered inside. The kitchen was a mess. Drawers flung open, utensils scattered across the floor. And then she saw it. A pair of glowing eyes reflecting the faint light, staring at her from the darkness. Gap 2S. Rachel's breath hitched. The eyes blinked, and a low growl rumbled through the room. She took a step back, her mind racing. What was it? What did it want? She had to get out, had to find help, but the creature moved, stepping into the light. It was large, its form obscured by shadows, but the eyes were unmistakably predatory. Gap 2S. She turned and ran, her footsteps echoing through the silent house. She could hear it following, its growls growing louder, more menacing. She had to find a way out, had to escape, but every door she tried was locked, every window sealed. The creature was closing in, and Rachel knew she was running out of time. "Rachel!" A voice rasped from behind the door. The same voice from the phone. "Let me in!" Panic surged through her. She scrambled back, knocking over the Christmas tree in her haste. Ornaments shattered, scattering across the floor. The doorknob jiggled violently. Whoever was outside was trying to break in. But how? The door was locked. Suddenly, the rattling stopped. A heavy thud, like a body falling against the door, sent tremors through the room. Then, silence. Cautiously, Rachel approached the door. She peered through the peephole. The hallway was empty, but a single set of footprints, large and menacing, marred the fresh snow at her doorstep. Footprints that ended right at her door. And they weren't human footprints.